Okay, here we are in my Embrilliance software. I don't even have anything on this computer or on this in the software except for if we look right here where I go to help, serial numbers, the only thing I have right now is Stitch Artist Level 1. So this is what you can do just simply with Stitch Artist Level 1. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just come right up here. There's these different shapes that I can grab. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a circle. So I'm going to make a circle here in each one of these quadrants or sections. I'm going to make a circle, and while I do that, I'm going to hold down my shift key because that makes a nice circle. If I don't hold down my shift or I let go of it, I can then make an oval or a shape like this. If I hold down my shift key, it's going to jump right back up into a circle. Now, what it popped up using was the last motif I've used. And it opened up right over here in the properties panel. So I'm going to click on this motif, which is called knot number 9. And I'm going to hit the little minus button right here to get rid of that. So then we're left with, I think, let's see, I should just be left with, or I want to just be left with, a run stitch. So I changed it to that by clicking right here. Now, if you have Stitch Artist and you're not seeing these things, you need to make sure you come to the Create function, which is right here. You can toggle it on and off. Okay, so I have it on right now, and you can check out these different buttons and see what they do. Right now, today, we're just using the motif button to answer Connie's question. So the question was, again, can I put candle wicking on shapes in Stitch Artist Level 1? And she said she also has essentials, which is, in my opinion, essential, but not for this. So I'm going to come up here, and if I hover over this one, I can see it says Motif Run. So that's the one I want. I'm going to click on Motif Run. Now, it didn't do much at all because I have to select a motif. And to do so, you come over here to the Properties panel, and you see this little plus and minus button right here. They're kind of hard to notice, but they're very important. To add a motif, you'll simply click on the Add button or the plus sign. And then here in this drop-down menu, there's all different kinds of motifs that you can add. Well, to answer Connie's question, of course, we're going to go to the knots motifs. And notice there's 3 different candle wicking ones. And then there's one just called Knot 1. So we'll start out with candle wick number 1 and see what it does. So I'm going to click on that and say OK. Okay, notice that puts some candle wicking on here, which is pretty cool. If I turn off 3D, you can more easily see what they look like. And I can scroll in for you so you can see. Okay, so that's what they look like this. Now, if I want to change this candle wicking at all, I can do that. Remember, we're doing candle wicking number 1. I can come up here and change the gap between them. See how that changes the gap in between each candle wicking? Now, you might want to be careful and look at the ones on the right-hand side, because they'll kind of get messed up depending on, the size of your circle and whatnot. So you want to be careful of that while you're doing it. The other thing you can do, and let's go back to, maybe it was 0, yeah. The other thing that you can do is change the width. Now right now it's at 3.2. If I change it to 3.5, notice it makes them kind of squishy looking. Notice there's a little bit of a gap here. So I'd probably want to mess with the gap as well so I could get it so it looked, like they all fit around there perfectly. And this is just some trial and error. All right, so we'll go back to 0, and I'm going to go back to the width of, I think it was 3.2 or something. 3.2. Of course, you can always type in the number if you know what it is too. So I'm going to type in 3.2 and hit enter. There we go. That's what it was. As you can see, that's fitting, whoops, on there perfectly. Okay, so now somebody told me, this is another question somebody said, they said they can't move their design and it's driving them nuts. The reason why I can't move this design, you'll notice when it's selected, there's this little green square in here. Notice when I hover over it, my hand turns into a, or my cursor turns into a hand. Then I can move this all around like I'd like. If I try to move it from out here, I can't do it. So I've got to select it and then move it when my hand cursor turns into a hand. All right, so let's see. There's some more things we can change over here. We change the gap. We can also change the height of them. So you're making them taller. Okay. And again, once you do that, you might have to mess with the gap a little bit to fix this gap over here. Okay, let's see. Okay, don't remember what this was on, but I think maybe like 3.2. Nope, because you have to mess with that a little bit more. But I'm not really too worried about that right now because there's another thing that's really, really cool that I want to show you. So I just have to keep messing with this to get it. There we go, to get it right. So the other thing that you can do is click on this to highlight it, and that opens the motif area over here. And the other thing you can do, and this is cool, you can add a different motif in between these motifs. So if I click on the plus sign here, I can add another thing from the knot section if I'd like to, or I can go to another section. Maybe I want to add something from the satin section in between. So let's see what happens. I have no clue. This is just trial and error, just fun playing. So you'll have so much to play with this. Oh my gosh, that is tough. Cool, tough. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that in 50 years. But that's really cool. But again, looks like I might need to mess with this gap. There we go, perfect. Good, just like that. So let's just look in this stitch simulator to see what this would do. So it's going to stitch one of the candle wicks and then this little satin stitch and a candle like that. Isn't that cool? And if we put the 3D back on, you can kind of see. And maybe you'd like to change its color to something that's actually kind of pretty. Okay. All right, so there you can see what it's going to look like. Isn't that pretty? And of course, if you wanted to, you could put another design in here. So let's imagine we want to put a circle inside here. I still like that pink color better. Let me. Okay, so let's assume we want to put a circle inside of here. Come up here, and it's going to make this disappear momentarily, the design work or the stitches. But I can still come up here, hold down my shift key to get a nice circle, put a circle in here and move it how I'd like it to be. And maybe this time all I want on this one are, oh look, it put the thing we still had, but I don't want that this time. So I can come over here because the motifs is still selected. I'm going to click on satin. And I'm going to get rid of these satin stitches. I just want the candle wick to be there. So all I have to do is hit the select the satin and hit the minus sign, and it's gone. And then, of course, if I need to, I can change the gap on these to however I'd like them. And just fuss with this a little bit. There we go. That's pretty good. Well, as I said, this would be something you have to mess with to get them to be just like you'd like them to be. And again, I could just change the color of this if I'd like. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to color, change its color. Maybe I want it to be a darker pink like that. Ooh, that's just horrible together. But you get the idea. So yeah, indeed, we can certainly put candle wicking on any design you could make. Let's check out one more. Let's go to a new page. And I'm going to draw a heart. Okay, in Stitch Artist, you're able to draw by points. And that's by using this right here, draw with points. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to start drawing here on the line some points. And while I'm just left clicking or regular clicking, notice how it's automatically going around and around in curves for me. At this point now, when I'm coming down to the end, I'm going to hold down my shift key, which is going to make a straight line. And then if I'd like, I can make a straight line back up this way. And one of the things I could do is I could have stopped when I was over the other part, and actually instead of coming over here and doing this, I could have just done half of the heart, copied and pasted it, and then flipped it horizontally, but that will be another lesson as well. So right now what I also could do if I'd like is while I'm in Stitch Artist, or while I'm have my create mode on in Stitch Artist, I can change these a little bit so maybe they look a little bit more like the other side. So if I double click, I can add a node or a point. These things are called points or nodes, and I'm just maneuvering them a little bit, trying to make it look a little bit more like the other side. Okay, let's pretend that looks like the other side. So now we have our drawing, and I can simply click on it, come up here to the motif run, and it automatically puts the same thing that we just used on there. And those, of course, if we unclick the 3D, you can see those are sort of like the candle wicking, but they're actually a knot. If we want to, we can change that from a knot, get rid of that, the knot, and get rid of it, and then add a new motif in, and go back up to the candle wicking and say OK. And there's the candle wicking again. So that is how easy it is to do this. Now, before I get off here completely, I just wanted to show you a couple other ones that I had done. These were some I did. I did a star, and then I put a shape on it. And by the way, if you click over here, you can find out what you've done. So I've clicked on this one. You see it highlighted in the Objects panel. If I come down here to Motif, it tells me that was knot number 2. Let's click on this one now, and look at this one. I have 3 different knots in this one, 8, 2, and 3. And this one is made up of simply knot number 9. So how did I do that again? Let's click on this one and put a few different motifs in it. So if we come up here to the motif area, right here, whoopsie, not there, here, click on it. That puts the last thing I've used. And I come over here, remember, it says color. I could change its color to something pretty, which I'm not finding. All right, let's just make it green. Okay, so there's that. Then we could change shape. Wow, I didn't know you could do that. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize this, you guys. You could change how many sides the star has. Isn't that cool? Wow, look at that. Let's see what that would stitch out like. I'm curious. So if we hit the stitch simulator, just gonna stitch like that. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. I just learned something myself, you guys. But anyway, click back on the first one, and we're gonna go back to create, because notice nothing shows up for me down here. I have to be in create mode, which I get from Stitch Artist. And then when I click on this, I get this other stuff down here. So I'm on Candlewick number 3, and maybe I want to, go back to the way it was with less sides. I think I'll make it 5-sided. There we go, 5, okay. And now I'm going to go back to Motif, and I'm going to add something else with that. What should I add? I'm going to go to something else, I think. I'll go to decorative? Sure, I'll try this. I don't know. Decorative number 5. Okay. All right, so that kind of added that. Huh. Let's see. I'm not crazy about decorative 5, so I think I'll get rid of that. Add something else instead. Let's see. How about decorative 12? Something roundish. Whoopsie, it didn't add it. How about add decorative 12? I forgot to say okay, I guess. Okay. All right, now it's added that in there. It's kind of hard to see, though. Huh. But now if I go to decorative 12, I can go ahead and change its size a little bit. Okay, that's, you can make some really creepy things doing this. I mean, you may happen upon something beautiful, but you could actually make some really ugly things too, so watch out. So like, I don't think I like that. So I'm going to get rid of decorative 12 minus. So we're back to this. But anyway, that's how you can do it. Let's get rid of Candlewick. Well, no, let's add one more motif. So I'm going to go back up here. I think I'll go to satin again. Larger. Ooh, let's try that one, see what happens. Okay, that's crazy wild, right? Look at that. I almost kind of like it without the candle wicking in there. That's really interesting. What if I deduct or minus the candle wick? Oh my. Ooh, look at that extra design I made inside. But I'm a little worried because it looks like there's a lot of overlapping there. Wow. So you can see just how much fun you can have playing with this. I mean, it's crazy. All right, let's see, what else did I have? So we're here. That's my heart. Oh, this was something I also wanted to show you that you can do. So in Stitch Artist, you can bring in images. So I'll hide this image, or actually I'll bring in a new page. And I'm going to bring in an image right here. In Stitch Artist, you're able to do that. I'm going to bring in an image. So I'm looking for an image. And somewhere that little martini, there it is. Okay, there's the martini glass. I brought it in like this. I can look at this martini glass, or I can hide it by simply clicking on this little button over here that looks like a picture. See that? Puts it on and off. But what I can do now is I can draw this with points. So maybe you have a little duck that you wanted to bring in that you wanted to embroider, or a little bunny rabbit for Easter. With Stitch Artist, you can do that, but we're working with motifs, so I'll just do that for right now. But what you'll do is you'll come over here to draw with points and just start drawing. And remember how I said if you just keep clicking normally, it pretty much follows what you want it to do. And right here, since I'm getting close, I can come up here to this tomato guy and say close. So right now it's closed. And if you see, I can click on the word image right here over in the objects panel so that I can more easily see my stitches, and I can make it more transparent. And now I can see better if my stitches are going where I want them to go. And really they're not, because look at this craziness over here. Right there. So what I want to do, and I'll scroll out just a little bit. So I'm going to click on this, double click, and that adds a node which I can bring down here. See how I'm able to move those right over top of the dark line that's underneath. So that's how you can fix your nodes or fix your design so it fits perfectly. So let's scroll out a little bit more and see, do we need to move this down a little bit? Sure. So I'll show you why in the world I'm doing this anyway. Why in the motif tutorial would I even be showing this? And I'll show you in one sec. So again, I'm just moving these in. And the more you play with the little nodes or points, the better you'll become. And after a while, you'll love playing with them. So let's pretend like I've got this on here perfectly. Okay. With this selected, I can once again come up here to the motif fill, motif run, and it put on what we used last, which is certainly not what we want to use. So I'm going to subtract it, and I'm going to add a different motif in. And I think I'll go back, as like Connie asked about the candle wicking. I'll use candle wick number 3. I'll say okay. And there we go. So I could continue on. I could fix this so these are, you know, the spacing is a little bit better, the gap, whatever, however you like it to be, you know. And then you could do the rest of this just like that. So anyway, this video is basically to show you that, yeah, you can certainly use Stitch Artist level 1, 2, or 3, but 1 to do the candle wicking. Okay, I hope you liked this video on candle wicking and basically using a lot of motifs. And there's just so much that we can change and have fun with. I can't wait to see what you guys stitch out. Hey, email me at Team Patty Ann if you have any questions. Oh, teampattyAnn@gmail.com, or join our Facebook group, down below and show us what you were able to make with motifs. I'd love to see it. Thanks again for joining me. Check out the links below. Don't forget, until the 19th, Embrilliance has a special extra 10% off. The info you need is below this video. See you all again soon. Bye for now.